like the rest of my sandwich?
I'm not homeless. Hey, come on, grab your stuff. I got us a place to play.
What is it?
Oh, I don't know. It's a place called Dante's or something. And they've only allowed us to do one song, so we got to make it a good one. Come on.
Taste the biscuit. Taste the goodness of the biscuit. Taste the honey sauce. Taste the goodness of the biscuit with the honey sauce. Don't get that honey sauce on me. I don't like the way it tastes with my chicken wings. Taste the biscuit. Taste the goodness of the biscuit. Taste the butter spread. Taste the goodness of the biscuit with the butter spread. To get your butter spread all on me. I don't like the way it mixes with my mac and cheese. Cause when you're at KFC, you got that special sauce to stir my curiosity. Just give me a 5-piece meal, oh what a deal. A big old box, it's all for me. You know I'll take coleslaw on the side. I could tell you wanted to try the potato wedges. Taste the biscuit. Taste the goodness of the biscuit. Taste the honey sauce. Taste the goodness of the biscuit with the honey sauce. Get your honey sauce on me. I don't like the way it mixes with my chicken wings.
What a weird song. No wonder Cindy likes that song. Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. Today's Monday, right? I got to take my daughter to the dentist this morning, my granddaughter to school, pick my daughter back up from the dentist, and then I don't know what after that. I'm still sick. One more day, I should be over it. Just trying to take it easy. Not working around my food or anything right now. I don't want to get anybody else sick, so just doing my thing. Hope everybody's doing good. Violence in Mexico. War with Iran. We just bombed Venezuela recently, right? The Epstien files, the UFO files are coming out. Trump's getting ready to address the nation in a couple days. And of course, Isreal. I mean, that's basically it. And everything, including Mexico, guess who's behind it? I mean, do we really think that them getting El Mucho or El Mincho or whatever the fuck his name is for the cartel that has anything to do with drugs? Does anybody really believe that at this point? I hope not. I hope we're not. I hope we're still not way back there in the Wayback Machine. It has nothing to do with drugs. Zero. Less than 0% does the Mexico violence have to do with drugs. It has everything to do with the fact that Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum, who was inaugurated on October of 2024, is not considered pro-Israel. She has openly criticized Israel's actions in Gaza, labeling them a genocide and supporting the Palestinian cause. Despite her Jewish background, Sheinbaum has long advocated for a two-state solution and condemned military actions against civilians. And you could say the same thing about Maduro. You know, this is what this is all about. And, it's crazy. Toro, good morning. Good to see you. You're out in the snow. Yeah, you guys are getting pummeled over there. Man, you guys pissed the government off. I'll tell you what. They're just hammering you guys with weather. Mother Nature, a.k.a. The government. They got those dials turned on the East Coast bad right now. I heard you guys are going to get like 2 feet of snow over there, 18 to 20 inches. In fact, I know Tommy was talking about Poly Market and the crazy things that you can bet on. There's actually, let's see here. How many inches of snow in New York City this weekend? February 21st through 23rd. So this is a little outdated, but 18 to 20 inches, 57%. 20 plus inches, 19%. Those were the two highest predictions. So you can bet on that. You can bet on U.S. anti-cartel ground operation in Mexico by March 31st or June 30th. June 30th says 38%. U.S. strikes Iran by March 7th. By March 15th, it's basically 50%. Oh, wow. June 30th, it goes up to 67%. And by December 31st, 73% chance of bombing Iran. The U.S. strike on Mexico. We're not going to strike Mexico. We're going to go take boots on the ground. That's what it'll be. Prince Andrew sentenced to prison, 13% chance. Will the court force Trump to refund tariffs? The chance is only 19% that they will. Everybody's betting on Bitcoin to go down. It's like we got J.D. Vance as the front runner for president. Gavin Newsom at a close second. Marco Rubio, not a chance in hell. AOC, not a chance in hell. Kamala Harris, not a chance in hell. Let's see. Grateful, hello. We got over 20 inches and it's still coming down. Damn. Yes, we are live, Tommy. Good morning. I was listening to your show as I was getting videos for this one. It's crazy to think about the cocaine and crack epidemic. I mean, we could just do an entire series on that. And it is crazy, because I personally don't think that this has anything to do with drugs, this right here. But the 80s and 90s had everything to do with drugs. Like, we all know people that were affected by that shit, like personally, Crack was no joke. I was luckily to only have tried it one time out of a beer can, and I didn't inhale. Just being stupid one night. So those were never I was always too scared to do any of those drugs. I don't think Gavin's going to run yet. He may not, Grateful. He may not. But what's going on in Mexico right now? It ain't got anything to do with drugs. It's got everything to do with a pro-Israeli regime change. In my opinion, anyway. So, yeah, that's what we can bet on good old Poly Market. And it is interesting to look at because U.S. anti-cartel ground operation in Mexico by the end of June, almost 40%. And I do believe that. I do believe that I have another video where, who knows? There's going to be some reason why we have to bring boots on the ground in Mexico. And who knows what it's going to be. I don't even want to say. Because these guys have too many tricks up their sleeves. But we probably will. Crackhead, yes. Self-proclaimed crackhead, for sure. Now, I was always terrified of crack. I didn't want to be around. I did have a couple friends that smoked crack. And it basically just ended our friendship because of it. I refuse to be around any of that nonsense. But, there is no cocaine anymore. There's fentanyl. There's no cocaine. And I was never a cocaine user either. I mean, I probably tried cocaine maybe 2 or 3 times in my life at the most. But there is no cocaine anymore. All you got to do is watch Theo Vaughn to know that. There's fentanyl, there's all kinds of weird fucking drugs and pills and shit. But I don't think there's any pure cocaine. So, and wasn't that one of the reasons why we were bombing those fishing boats in the Caribbean? And why we bombed Venezuela? It's not like any of us predicted months and months and months ago before it happened that they were going to bomb Venezuela, because it's just part of the plan and the regime change and everything. Oh no, it has to do with the little fishing boats with piles of fentanyl. And we're supposed to believe, and people do believe, that actually creates a dent in the drug problem in the United States. It does not. It does not. I take that back about the cocaine. From what I hear, Nantucket Island, if you have connections to like Martha's Vineyard and Nantucket Island, you can get cocaine. So think about who hangs out around there and, follow the money. In fact, I have a video about Nantucket Island, that there's so much coke on Nantucket Island that it's in the water. Where is it at? Because you would think that if there was lots of cocaine in Mexico, you would find cocaine in the water there too. Filled with cocaine. That's interesting. That's nowhere near Mexico. Huh. That's interesting. Huh. Go figure. All right, let's get to... Oh, you guys weren't even watching that. Pardon me. My brain's just not firing on all cylinders. I've been sick for the last few days. What can I tell you? I never get sick, ever. I finally got sick, and I got the fucking snivels. What do you want from me? Okay? Hold on 1 second. Let me get back down there.
Sewer water is filled with cocaine, according to the testing shows Nantucket's sewer water is filled with cocaine, according to the Inquirer and Mirror. The island's cocaine markers have routinely exceeded national and regional averages. 2 spikes in October and December reached nearly 3 times the national average. Nantucket's health director says the data will help provide behavioral health partners with actionable information. Testing
Cocaine. If you want to get down, get on a boat to Nantucket. Cocaine. Grateful was confused. Yeah, don't worry. I'm good at confusing all of us. I mean, it's confusing to watch this show. try being in my head for like an hour. Could you imagine what that's like? The fucking chaos that ensues, especially in the morning. It is interesting, right? Good old Nantucket. There was a man from Nantucket that had a pocket full of coke. And he said, would you like to buy some while you're on vacation? And I mean, that's what I'm just guessing. I don't know. I wonder who hangs out on Nantucket. The Kennedys, Russell Brand, who knows? Dave Portnoy, who fucking knows? It's over there by Martha's Vineyard, right? I didn't even know where Nantucket was. Providence is close by there, big college close by there. I mean, it is just very interesting. Nowhere's near Mexico. Huh. And like I said, you'd think that there'd be cocaine in the water in Mexico. That's where all the coke's at. You know, wouldn't there be like lots of fucking coke everywhere? Why is there all this fucking coke in the water of Mexico? No one ever fucking says that. But here we are on Nantucket Island. Huh. Just very interesting. All right, let me get back to the... This just kind of gives... this is an old video. I played it before. This is the general consensus of people against Israel. Right or wrong, this may not be your opinion. A lot of people feel this way.
For my TikTok, buddy. No, buddy. We need a quick question, buddy. What's your stance on Israel, buddy? What's your stance on Israel?
Israel is the best country.
Fuck Israel.
No.
Fuck everything about Israel, buddy. Free Palestine, buddy. Look how I smelled you. I smelled a rat. I smelled IDF Israelis. You could smell them. They smell like shit. They smell like baby killers. Look at them. Look at the baby killers. Look at these baby killers. You touch my phone, I'm gonna hit you, bro. You touch my phone, I'm gonna hit you. Any sense in my body, buddy. Hey, I'm not your friend, you Zionist bitch. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you, you fucking Zionist. Let's fight, buddy. You wanna fight or what? You wanna fight or what? I fucking can't stand Israelis. See how I smelled your ass, bro.
And, you know, it's a little extreme. A lot of people feel that way. And the problem is that, you know, what's going to happen. Like if there was a fight right there, you know, who's going to end up going to jail? The dude with the camera. Because unfortunately, our country was taken over by Israel. And so when it comes to like the laws and stuff like that, if you go up against those people, you're going to lose. I'm just going to make that prediction right now. I don't have any facts to back that up. I highly don't recommend fucking with anybody from Israel. Just a word of advice from me. If they're from Israel, do not fuck with them unless you like jail, you know, because that's what's going to happen in our own country. You know, if they're from Israel, just fucking walk away. That's all I can tell you. Unless you got, you know, unless you want to fucking go to court. In just 1 month, Israel killed more Palestinian children in Gaza than all other war zones in the world combined. Professor Norman Finkelstein.
Maybe there are a lot of dead Palestinian babies. In fact, just the very first month, just October 2023, do you know more Palestinian children were killed just that first month than all the other war zones in the world combined?
And I'll just stop this video here and just try to not make a prediction, but what he just said about the children of Palestine, it doesn't really resonate with us. It never has. We hear these stories since we were kids about the Israel-Palestine conflict. It doesn't really mean anything to us. I mean, if we're going to be honest, unless you're from there. But the reason I'm going to stop it right there is because you want to find out, you want to think about a reason for them to draw us into Mexico against the cartels other than the obvious. Okay, there's cocaine. You know, I guess we can go with that. Oh, we're going to stop the cocaine and the fentanyl. Let's go with that. Okay. Yeah, and that's been going on for fucking ever. They need a better reason than that. So, you know, you just wait and see, because I'm just letting you know that the people that are down there orchestrating this bullshit are those guys, the usual suspects: Israel, the United States, the fucking sleazebags that fucking run all the other fucking crooked shit in this country and around the world. The warmongers, the people that are trying to expand Israel. So you wait and see what they tell us on the news in the next week or two about what happened to some kids in Mexico. They got a fucking school bus of kids and they burnt the fucking whole school bus. Like I said, I don't want to make any predictions, but I already know what's coming. If it gets to the point where, oh no, we have to go to Mexico, like our military actually put the boots on the ground in Mexico and fucking starts fucking up the cartels, they're gonna basically just pull a false flag on us. That's what they're gonna do, My video yesterday, I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, it got taken down. YouTube said they removed it, and then they threatened to just like take my channel down. And I'm not exactly sure why, but I think it's because I was talking about Sam Altman and accusing him of being a murderer, of murdering the Indian guy that worked for him. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. I know it was for playing that video, but it said copyright or some type of something. So, Patty, hello. Good morning. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. But yeah, that's why I will never try to make a living on YouTube or anything like that. Now, maybe with my chocolate or something like that, I don't know. But man, it's not a comfortable feeling when you see those messages like, oh, it's a strike, you could be shut down, blah blah blah, or whatever. Like, for what? What the fuck did I do? Everybody knows he's a murderer. What do you want from me? I'm not the one that fucking murdered that guy. Sam Altman did. So the Jalisco, so I had to look up because I need to know exactly what we're talking about here. We're talking about Mexico. On February 22nd, Mexican federal security forces killed Nemesio Ruben Esguerra Cervantes, a.k.a. El Mencho, the leader of the powerful Jalisco New Generation Cartel. CGNG is what we'll see that a lot. The CJNG stands for the New Generation. Well, it's CJNG, but it says Jalisco New Generation Cartel. So they don't even have their fucking acronyms in order. But that's what it is. Jalisco. The Jalisco Cartel. A lot of people, if they trace back their background, have a Jalisco in them, believe it or not. El Mencho was one of the most notorious cartel bosses in Mexico and had been a top target for both Mexican and U.S. authorities, Israel, for years because of the cartel's trafficking of fentanyl, meth, cocaine, and its violent attacks on security forces. After his death was confirmed, cartel members and allied criminal groups reacted violently, essentially a backlash and attempt to show strength and disrupt the security operation. Roads and highways were blocked with burning trucks and vehicles. Fires and arson attacks happened in multiple cities, in Jalisco and other states. Gunfire chaos and clashes were reported between cartel gunmen and authorities. Tourist areas like Puerto Vallarta saw violence and flight cancellations as people were told to shelter in place. Foreign governments, including the U.S. and Canada, alerted their citizens to stay indoors and avoid travel in parts of Mexico. This isn't a sudden new conflict. It's a retaliatory wave of violence that often follows the death or capture of a cartel leader. So that being said, Isn't that J and H? So it's Jalisco, not Jalisco. It's Jalisco. You could be right. So it's the Jalisco New Generation Cartel. But yeah, that being said, Israel's involved, in my opinion, 100%, because it goes back to the president and the regime change. Claudia Scheinbaum, which is such a Jewish name anyway, Scheinbaum. Isn't that weird? Does anybody find that weird? A Claudia Scheinbaum is the one in charge of Mexico. Like, what world do we live in? Shouldn't her last name be like, Martinez or, a Mexican last name? Scheinbaum? Does it get any more Jewish than that? Am I missing something? Anyway, let's watch this video. Did we even watch this video? I can't remember.
Oscar Blue for Real America's Voice News. Another burned vehicle by the organized crime and the cartel as a sign by the eradication and the execution of Nemesio Oseguera Diaz, better known as El Mencho, leader of the CJNG cartel. In the middle of the highway, these cartel criminals, they just burned another vehicle of pickup truck to send a message to the government and also to the population that they're still in control of several communities. Just now, breaking news as CBS has revealed that an official of the Department of Defense has said that there was a collaboration by special forces of the United States of America with the federal government of Mexico to execute Nemesio Oseguera Diaz, better known as El Mencho. But the ones that they led the operation was the federal government of Mexico to have a perfect execution of this leader of the Cartel Jalisco Nueva Generación. Behind me, you'll see another burned vehicle just steps away from the border wall. This is a national security issue. The cartel, it is relentless, and it is operating, and it is sending a message not only to the Mexican people and to the Mexican government, but also to the United States of America.
James, good morning. That guy's really good at being very dramatic and a short of breath and causing chaos and a sense of urgency. But what we're really looking at is car on fire. I mean, don't we have car fires on the fucking side of the road here in the United States? Is that really a fucking national fucking security emergency for a truck that isn't even fucking on fire anymore? I mean, what are we doing here? You know what I mean? You take that guy's fucking voice off that sounds like, a bomb is getting ready to drop on the whole fucking area, and it doesn't become a big deal, Take the Kabuki Theater and all the fucking chaos out of it, and it's just a fucking car sitting there with a flat tire. Yes, how is Shelby doing? Patty, she's swinging from my blinds. Nice. Hope you're doing good, James. So this is the national emergency. What a national emergency it is. I mean, my God, we need to go there and just sacrifice Americans for this. I'm pretty sure there's no other option. There's a truck that burned on the road in Mexico. So we need to send United States soldiers there to die, to fix the problem, right? Is that what we're going to go with? 21-year-old, there was a guy they killed yesterday trying to, I don't know if he was trying to kill Trump or what this story is, but they killed him with a gun and a propane tank. And apparently now, instead of being a trans or whatever they said he was a Trump supporter.
Morning, the security detail detected that a individual had made his way into the inner perimeter of Mar-a-Lago. A deputy and 2 Secret Service agents on the detail went to that area to investigate. They confronted a white male that was carrying a gas can and a shotgun. He was ordered to drop those 2 pieces of equipment that he had with him, at which time he put down the gas can, raised the shotgun to a shooting position. At that point in time, the deputy and the 2 Secret Service agents fired their weapons and neutralized. Morning, the security detail detected that
So, and this says, and you know, you always have to consider the source. I don't know the source, but this says he believed in Trump and was crushed by an economy that left him desperate. So, you know, I mean, if we want to believe that, if we want to believe that there's actually people out there, like, just, you know, are we going to hear, like, you know, one of us one day, like, man, we just had enough and we just grabbed a fucking gas can and a shotgun and we went to Mar-a-Lago. I mean, get the fuck out of here with this bullshit. Absolute fucking nonsense. You know, and they can't even make up their fucking mind of which way they want to spin the story. Whatever. A gas can and a fucking shotgun. You made it all the way to Mar-a-Lago to get killed with a fucking gas can and a shotgun. Sure you did. More of what it looks like when people find out you're Israel. I believe this is in Brazil.
Israel. Fuck you, fuck you. I have a question.
Where are you from?
Israel. Fuck you, fuck you. Hey, fuck you. What the fuck? You're from Israel? Hey. You're killing Palestine? Hey. Let go. Go. Hey, it's okay. What the fuck? It's okay. You're from Israel. Hey. Cheers, man.
So, right or wrong, that's just kind of the reaction. It wouldn't surprise me. Nothing surprises us, Grateful. That is for sure. You know, it is definitely, you know, 100% feasible that could happen. I don't think you can make it all the way to that point. Maybe. I don't know how it works. I don't know. Sean Strickland, he just beat Fluffy Hernandez. He has a statement.
I feel like we need to bring the belt back to America. We need a real fucking American to represent this fucking organization.
So a fight with Hamzat at some point somewhere in the world over fighting at the White House?
Well, first of all, you guys, I'm not leaving this country ever again. I'm an American. I'm not leaving. I'm not traveling. I'm not vacationing. I'm going to die on this fucking soil. So it will be in America. Where the fuck that is, I'll be there.
Yeah, you know, I don't know if he's wrong there. I can't really think of another country that I may travel to. I have no desire to go to fucking woke libtard Canada. No offense to the Canadian fans. Yeah. I don't know, man. Mexico, maybe. Once they get their shit together. Other than that, pretty dangerous out there. A registered Democrat police chief in New Haven, Connecticut, got busted stealing taxpayer cash to fuel his massive gambling addiction. He ripped off $81,000 from the Narcotic Enforcement Program Fund meant to fight drugs, plus $4,000 from the Police Activity League for kids aged 8 to 17. All to bet over $4.4 million on DraftKings and FanDuel apps, ending up with around $214,000 in net losses.
Some breaking news out of New Haven tonight. The city's former police chief arrested by state police today. Carl Jacobson is facing larceny charges, accused of stealing thousands of dollars in city funds. Tonight, we're learning the amount is higher than expected and the theft spans several years. Amanda Callahan is your reporter live at New Haven Police Headquarters with this new information. Amanda.
Well, Aaron, the former chief, had admitted to the assistant chiefs here at the department that he had stolen $10,000, and he said it was just over the last month. But the arrest warrant details, it was over $85,000, and that was just in the last 2 years. Now, some of that money is said to have supposed to pay for toys for kids at Christmas time. In early January, former New Haven Police Chief Carl Jacobson admitted to stealing money from the Confidential Informants Fund when confronted by fellow officers. According to his arrest warrant, in December, one lieutenant says Jacobson gave him money to pay an informant, then took it back, leaving behind an IOU note. When confronted a few weeks later, Jacobson admitted to spending too much money on gambling. He said he only took $10,000 and asked the assistant chiefs to let him replace the money and retire. Jacobson retired that day, and state police began investigating. They found in 2024 and 2025, Jacobson had taken $85,500 of city money, most of that coming from the informant fund, but $4,000 was from the New Haven Police Department Activity League, a program that funds youth activities.
It's also, I think, almost hurtful that there was $4,000 stolen that was intended for kids. That shows a level of judgment that's shocking.
After looking at Jacobson's bank account, investigators found thousands of dollars were transferred to sports betting apps. According to the warrant, he wagered over $4.5 million between two betting apps and was out over $200,000. The investigation's still ongoing, as Jacobson was the only person in charge of the informant fund since July of 2019.
I think from the beginning, we really didn't know how deep this went. Chief Jacobson initially said he stole $10,000, and clearly the number is much, much higher.
New Haven Mayor Justin Elliker looking for accountability to reinstate trust in the community.
How do I say he should not go to jail, right? We every day arrest people in the community for different violent crime, theft, and hold them accountable. The justice system will, take its course.
It's a perfect example, though, of how addictive online gambling is and why I'm so against it. The online gambling industry is just too easy. Yeah, it is. I mean, it's crazy. $4.4 million. He ended up losing $214,000. I mean, what the hell is he even doing? That's absolutely just a complete degenerate piece of shit. I mean, you're stealing money and then you're just going to fucking gamble it. Like, what is even the point of that? I mean, is it really was just the thrill of betting big amounts of money? It seems like he really didn't even want to win. He just wanted to gamble huge amounts of money or something. I don't know. That doesn't make any sense at all. Either there's more to that story. There's got to be a little bit more to that story that they're not telling us or something. It's like putting a kleptomaniac in Fort Knox to count money. Yeah. A gambling addiction is such a, you don't want anything to do with anybody that's a gambler, that's well, there's levels to gambling addictions, but you get people out there that they just, they're basically just sociopaths. They don't care about other people at all. They're nice and they're kind and they're, pleasant to be around, or whatever. But when it comes down to it, they'll just take everything from you. And you wouldn't expect it, but that's what gambling will do, It will absolutely do that. And it just consumes you. It's worse than, I don't know if it's worse than any drug, but it's up there. It's got to be up there. Former CIA agent has never had a positive encounter with Mossad. I'm just going to play a second of this.
My experience is universally negative. Universally negative. I've never had a positive encounter with Mossad. I have never met a CIA officer who has had a positive encounter with Mossad. Because the Mossad doesn't give two shits what you think or what you are trying to focus on in your job. They care only about Israel. And if that means shoving their fists up your ass or trying to recruit you or telling you to go fuck yourself while they try to recruit, the guy sitting next to you or the guy in the defense contractor's office, they don't care what you think of them. Because for them, it's an issue of survival. They have nowhere to go if they don't survive. The thing is, they have a real problem balancing intelligence collection with political influence.
So we'll just leave that we'll leave that right there. All right. And one of the other things that I put on the description title was UFOs. Kind of took a back seat today because of the Mexico stuff, but believe you me, we're going to be hearing about it.
The second thing that bothers me is the UFO story. And, you know, the more you dig into that and talk to people with actual knowledge of it, again, that's another story where there are some, you know, fanciful ideas floating around that are just, you know, there's no evidence that they're true. But if you talk to people who, you know, have actual knowledge of it that they gathered themselves, there are parts of that story that I do not understand at all that are really, really, really dark. It's so dark that I, you know, haven't told my wife about it. I mean, I haven't verified any of this, but this is not just stuff that I read on the internet. I know you all are very, very grounded in that story, so I think I know, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But there's some stuff there that's just like, man, I'm not even sure what that means. There's a spiritual component there that I don't fully understand. So yes, that story bothers me. And I think, last thing I'll say, that one of the reasons that we've had all these disclosures and all these, 10...
I'm going to stop it there. I have to leave in 40 minutes. So I got to cut some of these videos short. But we're going to be hearing more about that. It's very disturbing to hear Tucker say that there's elements to this that are so dark that he hasn't even told his wife about them. And he goes on to say that, yeah, why would you tell people about this? Because why would you want to traumatize them? And I'm trying to think like, okay, wait a minute. And then they go on and on about stuff. Anyway, we're going to hear more about the alien stuff coming up. Very interesting here. I'm just going to let this play.
Tell me, what are the odds that the notary to the deed of what was both Epstein and Howard Lutnick's property at 11 East 71st Street, because yes, Epstein owned that property before Lutnick owned that property. It was transferred to Epstein for just $10 in 1992. Epstein passed the deed to a Comet Trust in 1996, again, for just $10, of which a Guido Goldman was a trustee, the son of one of the founders of the World Jewish Congress. And then it was passed to Lutnick in 1996 for, again, just $10. Who notarized the deed transferring this property from Jeffrey Epstein to the Comet Trust in 1996? A Gary Pollard just so happened to be in the perfect spot at the perfect time to record the perfect shot of the South Tower collapsing on September 11th, 2001. Is it just a weird coincidence that Jeffrey Epstein and Howard Lutnick owned 911 East 71st Street?
911 East 71st Street. No, it's not a coincidence. Those people fucking knew exactly. They're the ones that perpetrated 9/11. I think a lot of us, hopefully, if not most of us, realize that now. You know, I wonder what that means. Talking about Tucker, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Very interesting, though. $10 transfers of one of the most expensive properties in all of New York. And then the guy who notarizes the deed is the same guy who films the collapse of the tower that everybody watches. It just, come on. More cartel updates.
Hey everyone, not sure if you saw my last tweet. I have some new videos coming out of Mexico. It's exclusive reporting of now deceased Mexican authorities I got from a follower of mine right now in Guadalajara, Mexico. I just got off the phone with a contact of mine in Tijuana. He says the cartel violence has now started in Baja California. Cars are on fire and there are now road blockades. Several businesses are closing and they're trying to limit the movement of the taxis and some of the other businesses. So I am now headed to Tijuana, Baja California, to cover the ongoing cartel violence, but also the aftermath right on the border to just get a different angle of the story. So stay tuned for our reporting. Also, check out that last tweet I just posted. That is a new exclusive video coming out of Guadalajara moments ago. Hey everyone, not sure if you saw my last tweet. I have some new videos coming out of Mexico. It's exclusive reporting of now deceased Mexican.
Sorry. Yeah. 29-year-old logistics wizard who flipped from rival cartel Las Viagras to CJNJ in 2022. This man has a PhD in U.S. trafficking routes. He hired ex-Colombian Guatemalan military mercenaries and survived a bloody Navy raid in 2025 that left 12 of his guys dead. No official word yet, but many see him as the heir to El Mencho's throne after his fall.
¿Cómo andas, Gabriel? Aquí andamos ir en Europa, no, oiga, ya aquí andamos encargados. Nomás para ver si va a estar con nosotros o no, porque Ando está ayudando a los carteles unidos y pues le mandamos el mensaje que se acomode con nosotros o se acomode bien con ellos, porque los vergas van bien. Aquí estamos en los bancos, para que sepa nomás. Y no me escondo, para que vea.
So, I mean, like, if I had to guess what would happen, and so now we got the 29-year-old, where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? You know, so this is the guy. They'll have to go in and find him. And what they'll end up doing in the process is it'll just be like Maui, the Palisades, or Patagonia in South America, where it's just another excuse or another way that they can destroy entire neighborhoods via fires or whatever the case may be, and push everybody out and turn it into, you know, low-income housing and high-density housing and all that kind of stuff. Mark my words. Regime change, pro-Israel, and areas that were once occupied by just normal people will be completely demolished, and they'll just be replaced. I mean, that, to me, I think that's what this is all about. Who is that? That's his name is El Yogurt. 29-year-old logistics wizard. El Yogurt. What a name, huh? El Yogurt. The Mexican army is deploying heavy armor to crush the narcos and shield civilians.
Ahí está el tanque. Se está calentando Aguascalientes. Ahí está el tanque.
Just more kabuki theater. Oops, I was on the wrong thing here. Hold on. Apparently, Israel has nuclear weapons because they stole nuclear material stolen from a nuclear plant in Pennsylvania.
Israel's nuclear weapons were created, of course, with nuclear material stolen from the United States, from a nuclear plant in Pennsylvania, as I know you know. I'm opposed to all of it. I don't like nuclear weapons. It's mass murder, as far as I'm concerned. So, no, I don't want Iran to have a bomb, obviously. The question is, what are the potential costs? And you have to factor that into any decision. And
what are the costs if they were to get a nuclear bomb? They've said for 47 years, death to America.
Well, I don't think
they target us.
I don't think
they've targeted President Trump specifically.
Yeah, I mean,
they've hired a person to assassinate him.
Iran, BBC, and Hamas not defending him.
Good.
All I'm
we're
saying
in agreement
is,
on that.
Our country is not thriving, and we're spending, tens and tens and tens of billions of dollars over time defending Israel.
Very interesting. I had no idea. I wonder if the news will try to blame Nancy Guthrie kidnapping on cartels. It's possible. There was a police helicopter that was taken down in Arizona, right? Like the next night when that happened. And then that story kind of disappeared. I don't know if that has anything to do with the whole cartel thing. I've always said that our military could take out the Mexican drug cartels by lunchtime in one afternoon if they wanted to. I've always went with that theory. In that our government is the Mexican cartel. Like if you follow the money and the banks and everything, we are the cartel. The George Bush and those guys are part of the cartel. You know what I mean? Like they want us to believe that it's a bunch of dudes in the jungles of South America stomping on coca leaves. You know what I mean? And that these guys are able to just run routes. It doesn't work. That, you know, I think that all the drugs are brought in via the military, basically. You know, it may not be exactly the Army or the Navy or the Air Force or the Marines, but it's, you know, along those lines. They already trying that, Patty. I have to think that the idea was meant for a reason. Yeah. No, it's and it could be why they keep showing us like the hole that they're looking at, and just the obvious like stalling out the story type of thing, so that these other things can play out. Maybe they expected it to play out a little bit faster. You know what I mean? Who knows? But yeah. I mean, imagine that. Imagine they show a video of like, oh, you guys want to mess with us? Well, look who we got. You know, we have a bunch of missing kids. We have, you know, the Guthrie mom, or they could, you know, any of that stuff. Sure. I think you're right. We could squash them if we wanted to. 100% we could. They only operate because we allow them to. This says, these guys are saying that they didn't kill El Mencho. They captured him alive. They were planning to force the state to release him, but he died during an air transfer due to his injuries. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what this says. Doesn't look like that guy in the video has life-threatening injuries, but multiple trees down and awnings collapse across Brooklyn and Queens as dangerous blizzard and whiteout conditions continue across New York City. Stay inside and stay safe. Wow, that looks pretty bad. I mean, that would literally just, I don't even know how my business would survive like in something like that. Fuck. I'd be screwed. Trees down. The weight of the snow seems to be the big problem. Yeah. In Ferndale, Washington, who just flew home to New York City to see her fam. She's there until Thursday, and last minute she decided to pack her sweater. Oh, good thing. Yeah. Wild weather. Before I kill someone, I take crystal meth and Mona, says the hitman.
No sabes lo que es una mona. No sabes lo que es una mona.
No.
You know what is mona?
No.
When you smell it like Shanky. That's my better fucking droga, homie. That's my mejor, porque yo empecé con ella oliéndola.
Mona. For how long?
Por, pues, ¿cuánto tiempo? Pues, esa madre, cuando tú la hueles, te la dejas un minuto en tu nariz, empiezas a ver, alucinar, es cosas raras, ¿me entiendes?
Okay, and when you commit a hit, are you also high?
Sí, homie, sí.
When you have a big job, what do you smoke or get high on to perform the best?
Fumo y inhalo cristal.
Cristal. What was the first job you ever did?
I tried to look up what Mona was. It doesn't say. It doesn't recognize it. Yeah, I hope she is okay up there. Yeah, they're getting a ton of snow up there. I have a couple more videos on the snow too, I think. Tom Holman says they just found a 14-year-old girl being forced into prostitution, living with 2 guys.
But we're not going to give up to everyone these kids are found. So we just found one 2 days ago. An example, 14-year-old little girl living with 2 adult males who trafficked her. And we found her, she's pregnant from trafficking, being forced into prostitution. 14 years old. So we're taking care of her, both physically and mentally. Despite what the media says, we're not heartless. We care about these kids. I'm a father. And the reason I'm so emotional and so headstrong on this issue, because I've dealt with dying children throughout my career. I've held dying children. I've held dead children. I talked to little girls as young as 9 that were raped multiple times by the criminal cartels. I'll never forget it. When you get on your knees to talk to a 9-year-old little girl, everything innocent and pure is ripped from her, and she don't believe in humanity anymore because you had a bunch of animals crawling on her, taking everything pure from her. You'll never forget it. That shit's happening every day through this trafficking, and we're going to put an end to it.
Well, I hope so, Mr. Holman, because, you hear about a 14-year-old girl that's pregnant, being forced into prostitution, living with 2 dudes. What happened to those 2 dudes? They should be handcuffed to each other and doused with gasoline and lit on fire in the front yard before you even leave the house. And then you can help take care of the girl too. I mean, Mona stands for morphine, oxygen, nitroglycerin, and aspirin. Just found this on the Googles. Holy cow. Morphine, oxygen, nitroglycerin, and aspirin. So they can turn that into like some type of a sniffable. Wow. That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that we have Tom Holman. I think that I don't know. There needs to be more deterrent for this kind of stuff. It does seem weird though, right? The Mona thing. I mean, that may or may not be what that guy's talking about, but I kind of think you're onto something there. We just need to know exactly how it works. Maybe they heat it up or something. And I was at a smoke shop yesterday, where they sell like pipes, and my buddy was buying a vape, and they had the weirdest fucking shit in there. I have to go back and look. It's got my interest peaked, like a laser. It said something about you want to see what you're burning or hitting. I can't remember exactly what it said. Some type of fucking little laser device they got for smoking weed, I guess, or concentrates, I think is what it was for. I don't know. Who knows with these kids these days, An old video shows the cartel telling the commander to his face that they could hogtie him and hang him from a bridge. Okay.
La verdad pensábamos manearlo. Somos muchos y viene toda la costa ahorita. Pensaban manear y ponerte en el puente, carnal. Dale. Pero por el presidente municipal, que es nuestro amigo y nuestro mando aquí, vamos a dejar esto así. ¿Sale? El respeto que pedimos. Igual. ¿Cómo respetamos? Le agradecemos mucho, señor. Gracias, Melissa. Gracias.
So there you have that. I mean, I don't know what type of politics you want to call that, narco state or whatever. Nothing new. I mean, obviously that's been going on for a long time. Snow removal operation underway in Times Square. So that's Tommy and Thindu right there. They were hired by Mom Domney. They had to show 19 pieces of identification. I think Tommy said he had to prove he went to Belleville High School and all this stuff. But you can see, I think that's Tommy right here in the black pants. Thindu's the one with that looks like a Darth Vader that just walked by. Right, because I heard they needed a little extra money, so they went to Mom Domney to try to get jobs in New York City. What the fuck? Oh, that's a Salter. Man, I feel so sorry for these people. Look at this guy right here. And of course, I'm kidding about Tommy and Thindu, but see, this would be me right here, the halal guy with the hot dogs. He ain't fucking playing. Now, there's another one over here too. They're not playing. They got to make their money, and I get it because I would have to do the same thing. Now, obviously, I can't bring out my tent canopy in that. They've got actual carts. But, man, that's costing people a lot of money right there. People still got to eat, but regardless, most people are going to stay home. Those guys are going to make a fraction of the money that they normally do, and it's going to take 10 times more work. But they got to do it, otherwise they ain't going to be able to pay their bills. So I get it. Life of a vendor in New York City, man. I got to come over there and be a vendor one day in New Jersey or New York, at least one day, not in the snow, just to say that I did it, just for the historic. I just want to do it, get it under my belt. I think it would be fun. Not in the snow, though. Something about Trump labeling them terrorists.
According to the Trump administration, you are a terrorist. I mean, the cartels have been labeled a foreign terrorist organization. What do you make of that?
Está fea la situación, ¿verdad? Está fea la situación, pero pues de todos modos tenemos que comer.
What's your message to Donald Trump if he's watching this?
Mis respetos, él tiene que según él, buscar lo mejor para los suyos. Pero el detalle que ya están los consumidores, ¿no? Si no hubiera consumidores, pues...
Yeah, I don't know. Personally, I have always liked Mexican people. Any Mexican dude I've ever worked with, I've liked. The coolest people. So I don't know how they can fix it, but I'm still going with the fact that it doesn't have anything to do with drugs and all that. It has to do with this regime change that they want. They want to take Mrs. Scheinbaum, the Mexican president, out and put in somebody else. You know, I don't know if she's controlled opposition or what. Maybe they're going to keep her there, and maybe one day she's just going to pivot. Who knows? I don't know what we're looking at here. It says Mexico's a war zone right now. I see a picture of a helicopter. Tim Dillon on the anomaly surrounding 9/11. This is a great little video.
What was 9/11? Because no one even knows what it was, by the way. No one knows what it was. There's a belief that Osama bin Laden, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, Al Qaeda, which was, is kind of, it was a group that ran weapons to a lot of, other, dissident groups and stuff like that. And that they had hatched this plot, and they had hatched it at a meeting in Kuala Lumpur, which was, by the way, heavily surveilled by a lot of intelligence services. And we should have known about this plot at some point. And then, Khalid al-Mindar and al-Hazmi and all these hijackers that were allowed into America, and they were being surveilled. But the FBI never told the CIA about that, because there was a wall between the FBI and the CIA, which did exist. But, it does seem like an important piece of information. So, and some of these people were trained in American flight schools, and then some of these people were victims of mistaken identity. And it turns out that some of the hijackers we thought were hijackers weren't exactly hijackers, and no one knows why Building 7 fell, and nobody knows why there's a tiny hole in the wall of the Pentagon. And again, you have to just dance around with logic. You just have to dance around and go, well, this is the way things happen, and technically a plane could fly at that rate of speed, very low to the ground for a long time, and not clip any light poles or not clip anything and have nobody really see it, and then go into the Pentagon and then go through 4 solid walls of steel and then punch out a little hole, whatever. At Building 7, actually, there were fires in Building 7 that were burning all day because of debris from the other falling buildings, and whatever. And, there's a lot of people that think that is bunk. To be honest, they think there's something there. There's something wrong. There's something weird about it. But all of the Epstien files around 9/11 are blacked out. Now, of course, I don't know what happened on 9/11. Nobody knows what happened on 9/11. We haven't read any of the files. There's a lot of people, including myself, who doubt that the official story is what we're being told. And people tried to find more out about this. There was a Senator Graham, Phil Graham, Florida. I believe his name is Phil Graham. Yeah. And I think Senator Graham might have been Bob Graham. Get up, Senator Florida 9/11 Graham. I just don't want to say it was the wrong Graham. And this guy was trying to find out. Yeah, Senator Bob Graham. So this guy was trying to find out more about 9/11, the Saudi connection, whatever. He was trying to dig deeper into 9/11, and he kept getting shut down, and he kept getting threatened by the FBI. They were like, hey, buddy, hey, Bob.
And there's a lot of people that have since passed that were trying to expose 9/11. I remember when we first heard anything about Inside Job, people hated it and wouldn't listen at all. No, they wouldn't. Yeah, bring up Building 7. They're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Stay off drugs. Get a job. Find something better to do, A Mexican senator accused President Claudia Sheinbaum of cartel ties, calling Mexico a narco state protecting cartels. She says she's being threatened with jail for exposing it, and that many Mexicans want President Trump to step in and crush them.
President of Mexico is furious. She's calling Mexican Senator Lili Tellez a traitor for coming on Fox Noticias with me a few days ago and saying this. Listen.
The help from the United States to fight the cartels in Mexico is absolutely welcome, and that is how the majority of Mexicans feel. The only ones who don't like that President Trump is sending help and trying to support Mexicans against the cartels are the narco politicians. That includes President Sheinbaum.
Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum responding, saying, quote, "It's not a minor issue that a senator gave an interview to a foreign media outlet calling for intervention."
And so there you have it. She's protecting the cartels. Oh my goodness, we're going to have to get rid of her and put in a Jew. Let's put in a real Jew, Not somebody that's going to be, oh, we love the Mexican people. Let's put in a Jew that's going to be, we love Israel. Guaranteed that's going to be exactly what happens. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum returning to the war against the narco is not an option. First, because it's outside the framework of the law, she says.
Que regresar a la guerra contra el narco no es opción. No es opción. Primero, porque está fuera del marco de la ley. Todos estos de la derecha que se llenan la boca de las palabras Estado de Derecho y defienden la guerra contra el narco, La guerra contra el narco está fuera de la ley, porque como lo dije o lo he dicho en varias ocasiones, es permiso para matar, sin ningún juicio. Y eso en México nadie o muy poquitos están.
I need to learn how to speak Spanish. I mean, with AI, I guess we really don't need to, but still. Trump already knew what would happen to El Mencho. When Trump replied to the journalist, "Don't worry about that," he was speaking from a plan that was already in motion. Days later, El Mencho falls. Trump doesn't improvise. He advances strategically and lets the results speak for themselves.
Mr. President, are you still considering land strikes on Mexico, Colombia, and Venezuela? What about it? Land strikes. Are you planning? Don't worry about it. Mr. President, do you believe that Howard? Do you still have a veto?
So he said, "Don't worry about it." This is really cool little video if you guys know about how binary code works. We'll just play it real quick.
So here we go, counting in binary. Just turn this into 1, 2, 3, because both bits there are wrong. 4, 5.
I always like that number 101. That's the number 5.
6, going well so far. 7, 8, yeah, I'm doing it. 9, 10, 11, yep, 12, ooh, it's stuck there. 13, 14, 15, and watch what happens when I get to 16.
16.
That's it.
And there you have it. That's a cool little way to teach somebody, the basics of binary code right there. I mean, I'm no expert, but I know starting from the far right that this is 1, and then it doubles. So this you get 0 or 1 for the first one, and then it goes to 2, 4, 8, 16, which is what he was on. In 16, in the 16 column, there's just a 1, and then all 0, so that's the number 16. But it goes 1, 2, 4. So for the number 5, which is 101, you have a 1 in the 4 column, 0 in the 2 column, and a 1 in the 1 column. So 4 and 1 is 5. 101 is 5. And that's just basics of binary code. I thought that was a cool little block there. This was supposed to be our downfall in Y2K, I think. Grateful says, "Stop it." You know the power button? They changed the power button on us a long time ago to the circle and the line through it. That's binary code. It's the same thing. 0 represents the circle, represents off. And then the line is 1. That represents on. So like on a computer, the computer power button is a circle with a line through it. You hit it once for 0. You hit it again for 1. On, off. Basic binary code. That's why you have that little circle with the line through it symbol. Anybody didn't know that? I know. I can hear my daughter, too, with the no math. She'd be saying, "Nobody cares, Dad." Jennifer Aniston having a creepy relationship with Jason Bateman's daughters.
Another person who's usually there is Jason Bateman and his wife, Amanda. And this weird exchange happens in the Vanity Fair piece in which they say Aniston is in tune with her friends' kids, too. Quote, "She almost makes us parents look bad because she's so incredibly attentive and consistent with her curiosity and warmth," says Jason Bateman, referring to Aniston's friendship with his 2 daughters, who are 18 and 13. "She's the first one to call or text about big dates in the girls' lives. She has questions about boyfriends." Asked if she would qualify as an aunt, Jason Bateman replies, "Aunts you might not see all the time. She's almost closer to a co-mom with Amanda." What in the actual F? If Doug ever told Vanity Fair that I had a co-mom in my motherhood, I would probably punch him hard in the gut. and say, how could you have been so stupid and clueless and cruel? That is quite the comment that he's making about his own wife in an effort to lick.
They're all very weird, all very strange. Speaking of strange, Cash App Patel, for some reason, is celebrating with a bunch of guys. Oh, it's the Olympic hockey team. You know, I like the fact that the deputy or the director of the FBI is celebrating with the hockey team. I am not going to lie. I do like that. I hate Cash Patel. I just got to call it what it is. I just don't fucking like that guy at all. So, fuck you, Cash Patel. How about that? You know, you lying sack of shit about the Charlie Kirk assassination, but there you are jumping up and down like a fucking moron. How about that? I got to go in like 3 minutes. We heard that one. That was the one about the aliens. I already watched that. Cash App Patel, what a dweeb. Yes, he is. Oh, Megan, hush it. Yeah, I don't listen to Megan at all. You know, I don't ever.
Another person who's usually there is Jason Bateman.
She is absolutely silent about the Epstien files. Yep, I got to run, guys. I got to go pick up my daughter, take her to the dentist, take my granddaughter to school. Busy morning. Thank you guys for hanging out. Patty Grateful, and everybody else that was in the chat this morning. Always a pleasure. Stay safe out there if you guys are dealing with the weather. Megan is smart for not mentioning. Yeah. Oh, she is smart. Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Grateful. Staying just, you know, Megan is not one to mess with for sure. You know, she's like, she can definitely hold her own. You know, I keep Megan Kelly's name out of my mouth as much as possible. I don't even want any smoke from her. You know, she is not to be played with. Let me just see what else we have. I don't have time to look. I got to go. All right, guys, have a great morning, and we will talk to you tomorrow.